Hi everybody, welcome back.
I'm going to turn this over to Benjamin for a second to talk about the test results in a general way.
All right, Benjamin, I'm just going to unmute you. Give me one quick second.
Maybe I misunderstood. Okay. Well, hello everybody. We have over 216 responses to the exam. That's exciting. You should all, as of now, if you've turned in your exam, be able to review your score. We will have office hours later on today. That I think would be an ideal time to go over questions. We would ask that if you got a 40 or below, that we highly encourage you to attend so that we can talk over any confusion that anybody might have on questions. That's all.
Wonderful. All right, Michelle, I'm going to unmute you again.
Okay. And I'm talking about the Google forum. Is that correct?
Perfect. Just give me 1 second and I'll pull up that slide.
Okay, Billy has some awesome slides for us. So as a participant in even just one level of the somatic voice work training, you will be invited to join us on our Google forum. We create a wonderful sense of community there. You can post questions, you can see other conversations. Somatic voice work email forum. Yeah, you need to have a Gmail account because it's associated with Google. You can set it up so you receive a daily digest of everything that's been posted there, or you could receive emails one by one, but you probably don't want to do that because you'll be flooding your inbox. I just usually go to the forum and check it from there, so I don't receive any emails, but I try to remember to go there every day, every other day. Lively discussions. We're very collegial with each other, but we agree to disagree sometimes. Jeannie is always reads just about everything that's posted, and she comments with her incredible benevolent overlord wisdom. And some of the things that she posts there are just brilliant. But mostly it's us just talking to each other, from people who are very experienced to people who are newcomers to it. You can lurk if you don't want to post anything. You can just read. But we highly invite you to participate because we really do have a sense of community, and we're all operating sort of on the same page. Although we all come to it with our different backgrounds, it's not the same as one of the voice teacher pages on Facebook, because we all have this foundational training. And then we also have the Somatic Voice Work Teachers Association. You are a good Vanna White. Which is online. You can go there, and Jeannie posts things about courses and webinars and lots of information about somatic voice work and places she's teaching all over the world. We have a place to post our successes and our calendar events there, and you can join as a teacher and be listed as a somatic voice work teacher for a nominal amount of money each year. That's also a great place, but that's not an active forum where we're talking back and forth to each other. And then, and then Jeannie wanted to talk about the Voice Foundation.
Before we get to those, we want to talk about continued training opportunities because people are always asking.
Oh, yeah.
So Jeannie's online courses will be starting up again in the fall sometime, so you can check out for newsletters and notes about that on Jeannie's social media, about her online courses. And then also there are reviewer discount rates every year for people who are reviewing. So if you are reviewing level 1 next year, or if you're doing all levels 1, 2, and 3, you can come and review at a discounted rate next year, hopefully in person. And then also you can follow Jeannie on social media, which is generally at Jeannie Lovetri, and you can find her on Instagram and Twitter, and on Facebook you can find her under Jeannie Lovetri.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle and Billy. I want to just clarify that the Somatic Voice Work Teachers Association allows you to use the logo. You can download the logo. It's 49 American dollars per year. The chat room is free. You just get a special password, and that will come to you after this is all over. So like after the 9 days passes for the whole course, you will get an email from a man whose name is Piotr Zelinsky. He is married to one of our Somatic Voice Work teachers, and he is our webmaster for that Google group. And you will get an invitation with a password to participate. That's all you need. You don't have to pay. It is a lot of emails, so set up your mailbox so that you don't get overwhelmed, because they'll come in like mad. And new people or people who are not, if you feel like English is not strong, don't worry. We don't mind. We don't care. Write whatever you can write in any language that you can manage. We all have a lot of people. We have people who are fluent in Spanish, people who are fluent in Portuguese, people who speak French. We have lots of different people who can help you with language. And you just should plunge in and write whatever you have as a question on anything, or if you want to just express some opinion on something that is important to you, do that. I make sure that there's no nastiness. Nobody gets to be nasty, although people do disagree, and that's good. Now, I want to talk to you about the Voice Foundation Symposium because I am on the advisory board. This Voice Foundation is an important organization that sponsors research in medical and clinical areas. It also is a home for those who teach both speech and singing. I have been going to the meetings every year since 1978, and I have met all the wonderful people that you've heard me speak about and write about through the Voice Foundation. There are many more organizations now that are also very good. We have PAVA, which is the Pan American Voice Association, and that was founded by Dr. Ingo Tietze, who has the wonderful Vocology program, which is in the summer, very intense program. I recommend both of those. And the Voice Foundation Symposium, Care of the Professional Voice. We have a lot of scientific presentations, research on speech pathology, singing voice, speaking voice, and medical. And the conference attracts the best people from all over the world. If you want to get more information, it's www.voicefoundation.org, O-R-G. I strongly recommend that at least once in your life, and maybe more, you go. This time, this past one was online, like everything has been. And for the first time ever, our own Amanda Chmela presented research on a paper that we did, which was very exciting to see her take that bold step forward, and I was very proud of her. Now, Craig Tompkins, who has been involved with the National Association of Teachers of Singing here in America, that's NATS, wants to talk to you a little bit about that. So Craig, go ahead.
Okay, Jeannie. Yeah, I'd like to invite everyone to join their National Association of Teachers of Singing. Here, as Jeannie said, in Canada and the United States, it's NATS. In Europe, it's the European Voice Teachers Association, the Association of Teachers of Singing in the UK, and the Australian National Association of Teachers of Singing in Australia. When I joined NATS in 1992, it was primarily an organization for teachers of classical singing and classical singing in academia only. I went onto the board, the national board, in 2010, and at that time there was some interest in CCM, musical theater, and jazz. But since 2010, that interest has grown to the point where now NATS is more than 50% CCM, independent studio, and musical theater and jazz teachers. NATS has become sort of the flagship for CCM singing. They've published fabulous series that Somatic Voice Work and Jeannie LeVetri have had a huge influence on. It's called So You Want to Sing. Our own Dr. Karen Hall, Trinice Robinson Martin, Diane Clark have all written volumes, books in this series. Jeannie has written forwards to several of them, as she's contributed chapters to several of them. And our own Matt Hoke, who took the CCM, or the Somatic Voice Work training, I believe it was in 2007. I think it was the year before I did it, is the general editor. So Matt has been constantly in contact with Jeannie about, well, what about this question? Or how about that question? Or what should I do here? So it's a fabulous organization to belong to. And I know many teachers say, well, it doesn't have anything for me. Well, join it and make it have something for you. We can only change the organization from the ground up. We can't expect it to change from the top down. So please join and work from the grassroots level to make the change that you want to happen. And that's my pep talk on NATS.
Thank you, Craig. Voice Foundation also has local chapters. I cannot tell you exactly where they are, but they are international. So if you go on their website, you'll see that. You'll see that they have chapters. And also NATS has a student element for student NATS that's called SNATS. And so, Michelle and Betsy, am I safe to go ahead and work with participants now? Is that cool?
Yes, Jeannie, you could work with participants, or if you wanted to ask them what they thought of the breakouts, you could do that first and then work with the participants.
Yes, okay. So you had the last breakout earlier today. I want to know a little bit about what that was like. You were fooling around with finding mix. So I'm particularly interested to hear from people who either have never done that before, or somebody who maybe thought that they were okay but learned something new. I'm kind of interested in having you share about that. So if you want, you can just go into participants and raise your hand, and Billy will let you unmute.
Great. So we will start with Ashman. I'm going to unmute you.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah? What's your first name?
Ashman.
Ashman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm a new instructor here, and also pretty new with teaching mix. So it was very interesting to be in the breakout session and experience different versions of mix. That there is a head dominant and there is a chest dominant. So I feel like really experiencing that can help me identify it within my own voice and sort of start identifying it in voices that I'm hearing in my students, as well as especially with Michelle's listening video. That was so interesting, just hearing, well, knowing what I had written in the beginning. I was like one-word sentences with my reactions to what I was hearing, not really sharing what I was supposed to be hearing. And I know I speak for a lot of individuals at this this coursework that by the time we did the second round, it was just a world of a difference. So just experiencing that firsthand was really amazing for me too.
Oh, that's nice feedback. Oh, how nice, Ashman. Thank you so much. Glad to have that. Okay, who else wants to share?
Randy, I'm going to unmute you.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. We were experimenting with the bright vowels in the group. When I was on my own, I started experimenting a little bit with a darker vowel and found that I could take the mix up a little higher, about a whole step and a half than where I topped out in the exercise with the teacher. Just any thoughts on that? Because I don't know if it's because I'm a little bit more flexible after the past couple days, but I'm the one that's had some trouble hearing where my mix and my head voice is and where my chest voice is. And it was just, I taped myself to make sure I could play it back and that it was actually what I thought it was. And when I was doing it darker, I was getting the hearing and the playback matched a lot more than with brighter sounds I've used in the past.
Well, it does, you know, you don't, in this 3 days, you don't just all of a sudden know all about how to hear it. It takes time to get used to listening, and some of these adjustments are very small. So, you know, it's okay. And yeah, the vowel sound can help you go a little higher or a little lower or a little louder. That's the whole point, that they interface. It's not possible to completely separate anything from anything because it's all one machine, but it can make a difference. The time that I was working with Adele when she was singing at Radio City Music Hall, one of the things I did with her was tweak some of the vowel sounds in her songs to help her get more what she needed to get. And so everybody, even at that level, can learn to make some changes and adjustments. And the fact that you noticed what you noticed is already wonderful. It's good.
So maybe I've been overcompensating with brightness in some ways to not, I know not to place, but to like feel. I've just had, you know, a lot of discussion about how to feel that narrow place that high belt mix goes into over brightening it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say that, you know, the idea that we all place the sound and, you know, it's a bone vibration kind of thing isn't so useful for this kind of stuff because you may not feel it very much in the sense that a classical sound is very big and you feel a lot of vibration. Sometimes when you're singing with the mic, if you back off the sound, you don't get a lot of that. So you have to learn to calibrate what your feeling is, as it may be a kind of movement or a kind of shaping rather than a position that you feel location.
Yeah.
One of the aspects of getting used to how you can really go a long way off the mic once you get used to it. You know, if you're going, I might sound like I'm dying with the mic stuck here.
Yeah.
That doesn't cost me anything to do, you know?
Yeah, it was just interesting, just the where, because I think I topped out at a B flat doing that, but then to change it to an went up to C sharp and D. And I just had never I guess it's just understanding the difference between the color of the vowels. You know, you're always taught about color and always taught about timbre. I just had never thought to darken my upper belt before. It was just really interesting.
And just be careful that the only thing you want to make sure you understand is that you have a student, that strategy might not work for the student.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, maybe the student would need to do that. And sometimes after you've done that enough, then you don't have to do it anymore. You don't have to, right. And it'll still go into the belty mix. So that's what's cool about the progression of the work.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, Billy, one more?
Okay, one more. Let's go with someone who has not spoken yet. So Mary Dildine, I'm going to unmute you.
Oh, thank you. Hello?
Hi.
I am 61 years old. I'm classically trained, but this was years ago. And I've always shied away from singing in a chest voice and singing in a mixed voice. But a couple of years ago, I co-taught with an a cappella vocalist. And I love the sound of her mix. And I've been so afraid to even try to get a mix that it was really astounding to me that, one, I could separate my registers, that I could sing in a head voice, and that I could sing in a chest voice. And then today, when I found I can actually sing in a chest voice. Now, it'll take me, or a mix, and it'll take me a while to develop that. But that's something I really want to do because I like it. I like learning. So thank you.
Welcome. And that's what's so great. I want you to know that when I was teaching at Shenandoah Conservatory in Virginia, my colleague there, who has subsequently retired, but then was a full professor in the conservatory and classical soprano who had sung her whole life. And she had never done any kind of chesty belting. And when I first started working with her, she was 63. And she said, I want to learn how to do this. And I said, oh, no, you don't want to do that. I said, you might wreck your classical singing. No, 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 no. So it did take her 5 years of slowly, 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 slowly walking into this sound. But she got really, really good at it. And she surprised herself at how far she could go and then still maintain her classical sound for when she would sing at church. So, you know, I think it's really cool to be able to discover stuff like that when we're supposed to be older.
I agree. It's fun to learn.
Not on the farm yet. So, I think it's really exciting to know. Where do you live, Mary?
I live in Northwest Ohio in a rural community. I teach at a middle school.
Good.
And I want to keep my voice as healthy and as vibrant as possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like the old warbly soprano ever.
Well, I mean, you can hear that those of us on the faculty who are of a certain age, we don't sound old, creaky. And I don't think I sound like an old lady too much.
No.
So, you know, it's really a question of keeping everything vital and energized. And I also, this is a chance for me to say to the young people, if you start having a vibrato that's like, pay attention. You're not supposed to sound like that when you're 35 years old or 40 years old or even 45 years old. Don't go there. Something's wrong. Usually too much pressure. So Mary, thank you. That was great.
Thank you.
Okay, the same as I said before, I'd love to hear all of the wonderful things, but you can write them down, write them so I can see them later and share with us what ahas you had. And, you know, if you had confusions, you were like lost, okay, that's good. We want that too. That will help us help you. I'm just, you know, really happy to have the sharing. And those of you who are just starting out teaching or haven't maybe even started to teach yet, good. We welcome you. Those of us who are older, I've learned so much from my younger faculty members about who's this singer and who's that singer I never heard of. Like, who's that? Oh, that's Tone, blah, 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 blah. Okay. And I'll never forget when I asked Jeff, what's auto-tune? And he said, oh, Jeannie, blah, 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 blah. I go, okay. But then, you know, I get to talk about people like Marilyn Horne and Joan Sutherland and Pavarotti, and even the present moment, people like Netrebko and Jonas Kaufman. So we all trade information and we look at singing in a universal way. So I have a desire to work with somebody to do a little one-to-one so everybody can see that. And I'm always looking for somebody who has technical questions or issues that have been a little tricky, a little resistant, like Mary's were. You know, she was a little hesitant to do mix and work on chest, and now she knows it's okay. So anybody who has not yet worked with me, raise your hand so Billy can find you.
Great. So the first person to raise their hand was Tamar. So Tamar, I'm going to unmute you. Hi, Tamar. You should be able to unmute yourself.
Hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
So it's part of the Israel group here, and it was actually me.
Oh, great. Do you have a pair of headphones that you can wear? Just because the room is a little echoey. I just worry about the delay.
Let me see.
Yeah, but we have to connect it to Bluetooth. Turn those on and I'll...
This looks like a fun room.
It's like the Eurovision. No, but like that.
Perfect. Just while you're coming in, I know there's a lot of concerns about the test. Don't worry, those will all be worked out. I know that Benjamin is going through that all right now.
Yeah, we'll help you out with that later. Don't panic.
I'm connected.
All right. So, yeah, and if anybody's watching from the other room, then you're going to get that weird echoey. So it'll be a little funny, but Jeannie, I think you'll be good.
That's better. It's not so much echo.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I think we can get started. That's probably good.
Good. Tell me your first name, please.
So my name is Roy,
Roy. Okay.
and my kneecap is broken.
Uh-oh.
So I will be sitting down if that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, where you are is not, what you're looking at is not the camera. And I need you to come a little closer to me if you can.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Now, Roy, what do you sing?
I was trained as a countertenor, alto, in the academy. That's classical music. And since then, it's already been 3 years I've been studying with Moran and also taking her courses and started teaching. So I, at the moment, don't sing anything in particular. Vocally unknown.
Okay. Now, are you, what kind of, if you have to sing, what kind of music? Are you still singing countertenor repertoire?
Sometimes, but mostly just sacred music, Brazil, and my Hebrew stuff as well.
Okay. So when you say sacred music, are you talking about cantorial stuff?
Not really. That would be sacred music from the Santo Daime Church from Brazil.
Ah, okay. All right. So I need you to sing for me, and I need to hear what you sound like. So do the best you can to sit straight and breathe the best way you can. Let me you just warm up a little bit. And Betsy, I saw your note there. I would like to work with some of the international people, so Billy, keep that in mind, okay? Roy, do in whatever way is comfortable for you. Down the octave. That's closer to where you speak, so we want to start with that, right? Yep. Keep your mouth open a little more. Yep. Roy, can I talk about you? Is that okay?
Of course. Very open and also a bold if you must.
Okay.
I like that at all.
Women, those of you that insist, I don't know how to work with a man. I get confused. I don't know how to work with a man. This is a light chest mix here. It's got a lot of head register in it. He doesn't sound like basso profundo, but he's not in falsetto. Right, Roy?
Right.
Right. Okay? So he's singing in some version of chest, but it's not, hey, he's not doing that. But he's not doing, hey, although that is where he started and I stopped him. Okay? So get it through your head. It's not different except that where the voice falls on the pitch range is the big adjustment. Okay? So, Roy, that was good. Just do it again. This is from F to C. Do it again. Maybe a teeny bit louder. One more. Open your mouth. So that's a nice middle of the road place. Really good. So of course now I'm going to mess with it because I have to mess with it. Now, can you get a straw? Make somebody give you a straw.
Shali Shama.
So I want you to do what you just did on the straw. So this is going to pull your tongue up a little bit. And I'd like you to just keep a little bit of feeling that in your face, everything is alive. Hey, so it's not really dropped, okay? So we're going to do this. And I'm going to do it an octave higher than you. I'm here, but I want you right where you just were. Smile a little bit. You can do this without dragging the tempo. Ya da 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 at that speed. Louder. Now your inclination here is to lift your head a little and lift your face a little. Go ahead and do that. That uncomfortable?
Not really. It's quite comfortable.
Yeah, you have to work though, right? You have to use your breath and you got to think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So for him, he's a countertenor. He's used to taking his head register down into these pitches. Now I'm telling his throat, no, go stand on your head, go up here in this chesty mix. So the throat has to go, oh, really? Now just happens, Roy, as I don't know, as luck would have it, but we have Theo Bleckman on the faculty. And if you're not familiar with Theo's work, you should try to find it and listen to it, because Theo is a specialist in really living in that upper quality, but he goes down and sings in his so-called real voice, his chest voice too. And he's quite able to do both. And you could maybe have a private lesson with him so you can hear that from him, because he's also a baritone, but he's tremendously facile with his upper range. And it's not a bad thing to hear somebody who's already worked all that out, because I don't think he would say he's a countertenor, but he's borderline with that quality, and he really knows how to maintain that. I mean, very well, but we worked hard to get it to be that way. So let's try this again, a little lower. Do it at about a 6 in terms of volume. Nice. One more. Now bring your head down a little. Smile a little bit. Do 2 more. Start on the bottom pretty loud. So far so good. One more. Okay, so take the straw down. Is that high note in head mix, chest mix, or chest?
Chest mix, I would say, or about 50-50.
Yeah, right? Now, those of you who are listening, that high note sounded very light, very heady, but it's not head register, it's not falsetto, and he knows because that's where he was living, right? Just so they can hear, could you sing a sound there that would be more like your countertenor sound? That's his head register dominant sound, okay? One more. So that's that's unmistakable. That's not the same sound. And the chesty mix one is more work, but not in a way that he didn't look like he was dying. He didn't turn blue. His neck wasn't, strangling. So this is a question of getting used to that, getting the muscles to actually do this position and then not do this position, back and forth. That's what the cross training is supposed to be. So when you first come away from what you've been used to, like Mary just said, oh, she was trained as a classical singer, I didn't do chest, and now we're saying, well, yeah, but you can learn to do it. I do it. Michelle can do it. Betsy can do it. Legion can do it. Amanda can do it. A lot of you can do it. So it's just a question of patience. You don't force your throat to go there. Or if you go to a G, you don't force it to go to a B flat. Not right away. Okay? So, Roy, these are good. I want to go to the lower pitches. So this is C. Can you give me a chest sound here? Doesn't have to be profound, just enough so it's there. Ah, ah, ah. That's great. Just stay there. Wait for the bus. As you ascend in pitch, you're going to have to keep the vowel sound bright enough so that you're not under pitch. Ah. No more. Now, maybe you won't be able to answer this question, and if you can't, that's fine. Is that the same kind of ah that you sing when you're in your countertenor sound?
I usually use a darker ah.
Right.
For the head voice.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's required above C5. I usually have to open more and raise everything.
Yeah.
Make sure the back of my throat is also lifted.
Right. So the reason that we say the vocal folds control the airflow and the vocal folds control the vowel sound quality is because if you're going to keep the vowel sound quality going and stay on the pitch as you change pitch range, you can't just sing in one position, because sooner or later that position is going to be the wrong position for wherever you're going to go. So this is why the whole system has to be movable, but under your control movable, as he was just describing, okay? Once you get the balance, then you can go brighter or darker in the middle as needed. But when you're going to a certain pitch range, you're going to have to change to get to the pitch range, or you can't get there. Okay? Now that seems like an obvious thing, and a lot of people do it intuitively, but you'd be amazed at how many people don't know to do that. They just don't know. And it's partly habit, it's partly because nobody's ever asked them to do that. It might be because their throat is stuck and can't do that. That's valid. So the training process is to help unstick the habitual position, like the one you usually sing in, that's your default, until it's not the only default you have. So Roy has been working quite well here, and this is just good. Now we're going to use nasality as a doorway to get a little bit more in the speaking mix. At first, this is an ugly sound. Nobody goes, oh, I love that. I mean, it's not meant to be beautiful. It doesn't mean you have to go around singing like this unless you play a Smurf in a movie or something, It's just an exercise. So Roy, do nya, 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 but from down here.
Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya. Nya, nya, nya.
Okay. Try to do your first note as firmly and solidly as you can. Nya, 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 nya.
Nya, 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 nya. Nya, 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 nya.
Good. More. So now I want you to sing, yeah. That's like if you're in America and we're saying yes, we go, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. So we're gonna do yeah, 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 yeah. Now I'm doing that pretty chesty. Yeah. Hello. Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah. So see what you can do with that. Play around with that.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good. One more.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. Now just sing a moderate ah at about a 5. Ah. Good. Brighten the high note a little more because it sounds slightly flat on top. Good. Okay. Is that still comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
Now, go ahead and use what you were talking about before. You have an awareness of the soft palate and the stuff in the back. Now, that means that you have cultivated that elsewhere, but use it, Think of lifting and arching inside. That's a better sound, so why not do that, right? Yep. Yeah, one more. Now, I'm not entirely sure that it's not some translation between the room you're in and the acoustics and the whatever, but both of those still sounded to my ear slightly under pitch. And it may be that that's not that, but I think maybe that's an aspect of the chestiness. I don't know. Just generally, when you're working with an experienced singer and you're going into chest, this is one of the side effects that you can get, which is it's not quite, you can't say it's not on the pitch. It's on, but then acoustically, it gets a little dampened. And then what happens is that the high frequencies don't get as much oomph as they need, and it reads as being slightly under the pitch. So there's only really 2 ways you can fix that. One is to take some of the chestiness out, lighten up, or really over brighten the vowel sound. And when you're in head, if you sang that brightly, it would sound like that, which you can't do if you're countertenor or a good soprano. But that is sort of how it feels when you're in chest, to compensate for the fact that there's pressure on the mechanism. I mean, you can't say there's no pressure, there's a lot of pressure. So the difference between, I think I can do it. The one that feels like it's more on the top of the pitch is the last one. Now, I don't know if that reads that way in this crazy circumstance here. So that's just something, Roy, to kind of pay attention to, and maybe fool around with that and record it and then listen back to it so you can tune a little better. We are always tuning the vowel sound shape to the pitch and the volume. So those little small adjustments in the shape and the pressure make it sound like it's, quote, on the pitch or not. So I'm not suggesting that you don't have a good ear. I'm just saying that because this chestiness position was the more recently learned, the calibration is maybe not as fine as it needs to be in order for you to stay pitch accurate. Now, as soon as we go to something lighter and bouncier, that probably will go away because that's one of the values of it. So let's do, you have a cork?
I do. Which size?
Medium if you have medium. Medium cork.
That be sufficient?
Yes, we have, yeah. We have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry corks. Strawberry. So you're going to put the fat part between your teeth, and I want you to sing like in the English word hen. Ha, ha. I'm going to sing. Ha, 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 ha.
Ha 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 ha.
Huh?
Ha 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 ha.
Eh? Yeah.
Ha 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 ha.
Now you've drifted over to ah. Keep your tongue a little more rounded in the front, otherwise it's not going to give you an eh.
Oh, you meant an eh like a hen, like a chicken?
Yes. Heh, heh. Now, those are all dead on pitch, except when the pitch actually goes off, but that's your larynx. And that's because it's lighter and it just calibrates better, right? So this is another value of this exercise. And then keeping the cork in the front stabilizes the jaw position and allows the tongue to make the adjustment on the vowel, in this case. Not every time with everybody, just this case. Try to go straight up on the chesty side, even if it cracks a little. Yep. Good. One more. Take the cork down. What does that, how is that? What's that like?
Feels good.
Feels good? Could
Yeah.
you, if you were singing music there, what kind of music would you sing with that sound?
With the sound I have now?
Sound you just made.
Again?
With the sound that you just made,
Uh-huh.
what kind of music would you sing if you could sing it in that sound?
Okay, I don't know. Lullaby of birdland, that's what I always hear when you sigh. Never in my wordland could there be ways to reveal in a word how I feel.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to have a chance to work with you. You've been doing great stuff with Moran, so keep going. And really, thank you so much. Okay, Theo. No, not Theo. Billy. Who's next, Billy? We got one more person.
I was just trying to find the schedule. I think we only have a couple of minutes. Michelle or Betsy, can you confirm with me? Or do we only have 8 minutes left, or do we have 25?
Yes, we have just a short 15-minute break coming up at 4:30. I mean, Jeannie, if you wanted to work with one person now and we'll just make the break at 4:45, we could do that as well.
Well, yeah. I was thinking to go to 4:30, and then we'll take the break. But because what's on the other side of it is flexible, I don't mind going a little bit over into that time, and then we'll move the break 5 minutes up. So it's like more like 15 minutes now, and then move the break a little. Who has their hand up, Billy?
Great. So the next person is Jody Moriak. So Jody, I'm going to unmute you.
Hello.
Hi, Jody.
Hi. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to have you here. What would you like to work on?
Okay, so I've been noticing since I've been starting to teach over Zoom lessons for all of my students, because I can see myself when I'm singing for them, I'm noticing that I have a lot of tension in my jaw on the right side. I apologize if my kids come in here. And I don't know if it's related to my TMJ issues, but I don't know why, but it's like I feel like my jaw is kind of over when I'm singing, and that's my big issue right now.
Okay, where are you located?
I'm in Westerville, Ohio, outside of Columbus.
Okay, and what have you got on your head?
I'm sorry, this is my daughter's Trolls headphones. They're the only pair that I have, and my students love them, so this is what I wear. I totally forgot that I was wearing these.
Oh, I'm just thinking, wow, that's really fun.
Yeah.
Why not? Okay, so you're talking to a person who has major TMJ problems. I was born with them. I have an imbalance in the bone structure of my jaw. They gave me lots of trouble up until I was in my 40s when I finally found a dentist here who specializes in TMJ issues. But we have 4 somatic voice work teachers who have worse TMJ issues than me. 3 of them have had surgery on the jaw. At least 2 of them have had surgery more than once. And they're still great singers and wonderful teachers. So, these issues are real issues and they can impact your singing. We can put you in touch with most people who will try to give you their own personal story about it. And if it turns out that that's a significant issue, there are specialists who can help you with that. Here in New York, the guy that I went to is known for this. His father was one of the people who have helped establish the TMJ syndrome is a real thing and that we're not crazy. However, as I'm giving to you the idea that I still sing okay, even with the problem. So sometimes it's an issue to work through, but it isn't necessarily going to impact you vocally. We don't know. But we can fool around with it. So the first thing I want you to do is to, let's try an like a hen, like I just did with Roy, and keep it on the lazy side. So not but What is TMJ? Temporal mandibular joint. This joint here in your jawbone. This is temporal, it's like temple. Mandibular, the jaw is called, in medicine, this is a mandible. And so temporal mandibular joint, TMJ. And when there's a problem with it, that's called TMJ syndrome. That was good. Just go on. Jaw feel like when you do that? Does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me. It feels a little bit tight.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
inside. Okay. So have you done any work with the jaw itself?
How so?
Well, I mean, have you ever done any body work on the jaw?
I
Or
mean, I've seen a chiropractor for it.
what kinds of stuff did the chiropractor do?
She did like she had one of those things that, like a gun looking thing that like,
That
I don't know.
that thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and a little bit of massage.
Okay. Anything else? Did she work inside your mouth?
No.
Okay. Some do, some don't. I've had work done, a lot of work done inside my mouth. That does actually, it's quite pleasant, but it helps. You can do that for yourself. Wash your hands and then just gently go into the muscle between your upper teeth and your lower teeth in the back and just put pressure on that. And then take your fingers and go, if you can reach, behind your teeth up into these muscles. And then on the outside, you can do a little massage in the joint. But I think I'll just, because you sounded fine, let's take you through a little bit of the Feldenkrais jaw exercises. They're very small. So stand, in really comfortable alignment. And people watching, if you want to do these, you can. The point of these is for the movements to be very small. I mean, like tiny, okay? So we want to have you drop your jaw down a little bit and then close it. And then drop your jaw down and then close it. And then drop your jaw down and close it. So you might not even really see a lot of outside movement. That would be okay. Now, you're going to try that small movement up and down 12 times in a row. And you count in your own mind how many times you're doing it. And people at home, you do this too. Count 12 times, small movement down and then up. And then when you finish, you let me know.
I'm finished.
Good. Okay. Now, the next one is to the side. So we're going to do jaw to the side and back to center. 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 Jaw to the side, back to center. Jaw to the side and back to center. Jaw to the side and back to center. Jaw to the side and back to center. And rest. Now the other side. And I'm counting now 12. So we're going 12 times. To the other side and back. Just a little bit of movement. To the other side and back. 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 Small, small. To the other side and back. 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 Okay. Now, just let your jaw hang. Now, go ahead and take your fingers and start on the bone and just tap all the way down this big masseter muscle here, this guy. And just tap. Go down and go up with your jaw just hanging in gravity, however much it does. Okay? So this is still working on the outside. Okay? And then when you get a little circulation in there, just gently take your fingers and put just the smallest amount of pressure on your jaw. And as you exhale, think it falls to the floor. So you're inhaling and then exhaling, and let your fingers help it go down. And then inhale, and let your fingers help it go down. And inhale, and let your fingers help it go down. And then when it's gone down about as far as it's going to go, just gently stretch it down a tiny bit more. And hold it, and breathe. And then let it go. Okay, now we're going to sing Yeah, 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 but I want you to sing it like you are like this. Okay, so it's not so much singing as it's just kind of making noises on pitch. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Lift your head a little bit and think now. So here's the jaw joint. I mean, here's the bone of the mandible, right? We're thinking we're moving from the back. Ga, 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 ga. We tend in our brains to think like a scissors opening here, blah, blah, blah. But think of as if you could make a space between your two back molars as you're going, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good. Lift your head a little.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Now your brain is sending this message into your muscles and they're going, ah, you want me to go there?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Nice. Jaw's not giving you any trouble here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so what is your jaw like that way?
It's fine.
Does it bother you to do that?
No.
Does it feel any better now?
I think so.
Okay. So, I mean, there's many more exercises that we could do in this direction. But, you know, when we get any kind of tension from life, God knows, right now, everybody has tension, geez, it can creep up into the muscles here from the shoulders, from the neck. It creeps gradually up. And suddenly you feel like, wait a minute, what's going on with this? One of my dear friends, who's also a somatic voice work teacher, is a jazz vocalist, Gabrielle Tranquina, she's here. And we just worked over the past month on her jaw. And she was asking me, why is it going off to the side? And I said, because you're under so much stress. We all are. And over the 4 lessons in a row we did, it took care of itself. It went away, and all the other stuff that went with it also went away. And she's here. You can email her on the Facebook page, Gabriella Tranquina. And these things happen to us. And then the good thing was that you had enough awareness and perception to see when you looked at your videos to go, what's that? And so now you can intervene with and say to these guys, no, you're not going to go over there. Don't do that. And then these are self-correcting things you can do, which actually might be enough to mitigate any problem you might have. And then, okay, over time, if it still gets in the way enough, you can have a consultation with somebody who can give you a bite plate or do other things. But I think you responded very quickly to just these exercises. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not sure if, I have so much stress, so yeah.
I mean, we're living in a very crazy time, and we're all, stressed about the virus. We're stressed about money. We're stressed about jobs. We're stressed about teaching on Zoom. I mean, plus all the other things we have stress about, our relationships, our children, our whatever. So, of course, as singers, we're very sensitive to anything that's impacting this. And, in the old days, they would just say, oh, you're psychosomatic, or, oh, you're a crazy singer. But we don't do that anymore. We say, no, actually, singers have a lot of proprioceptive awareness. But there are some things that you can help yourself go, that would help it like, oh. And you don't have to sing like that. But in doing those exercises, when you go back to regular singing, it may be that it's not going to bother you so much. Is that okay?
Yes.
You good with that?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
able to address that with you. And I love your headphones.
Thank you.
Billy, we got to get a screenshot of her. She looks. All right. Big applause.
Thank you.
And I love that you all have questions. I see them flying in. We'll see what we can do about answering some of those, maybe on the Facebook page or some other way. But we are going to take your 15-minute break now. So 5, 10, 15, come back around 5 minutes to 5, and we'll reconvene then. Okay? Thank you.